Good morning. We will call the Wednesday, December 6th meeting of the South Placer Regional Transportation Authority to order. The time is 10:49. I'm going to welcome board members and guests for public comment today. After I open an item for public comment, those joining us by Zoom webinar can signal they wish to speak by clicking the raise hand button, which is located on the middle bottom portion of the Zoom webinar window. If you are joining over the phone, you can press *9. SPRTA staff will call out individuals one by one who have indicated they wish to speak. If you experience technical difficulties and are unable to provide public comment during this meeting, please email your comment to solvisable at ssabol@pctpa.net. Thank you. And if you would, please rise and join me in the flag salute. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Sylvie, could we get a roll call, please?
Andriotta.
Here.
Broadway.
Here.
Howdeshelt.
Here.
Jones.
Here.
Okay, full house.
Wonderful. Thank you. Next item on our agenda is item C, approval of minutes from our October 18th, 2023 meeting, which were distributed to us electronically. Are there any changes that have been noted for the agenda by the board? From staff?
Move
No?
the item.
Wonderful.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the minutes from the October 18th meeting. Any further discussion? None. Sylvie, could we get a roll call vote?
Andriotta.
Yes.
Broadway.
Yes.
Howdeshelt.
Yes.
Jones.
Aye.
Motion passes.
All right, thank you. Next item is agenda review. Matt, are there any agenda modifications today?
No, Chair. Agenda remains unchanged.
Wonderful, thank you. We will therefore move forward. Next item is item E, AB 2449. Matt, any action needed?
No action. All members are present.
Wonderful, thank you. Next item is public comment. Again, this is an item for members of the public to speak to the board on items that are not on our agenda today. Please limit comments to 3 minutes. Is there anyone in chambers that wishes to comment on an item not on our agenda today? There being no one in chambers, is there anyone online? No, thank you. We will bring that back to the board for item H. Item G, which is our consent calendar. We have 2 items today. Is there any comment from the board on the consent or wish to remove an item? Is there anyone from the public in chambers that wishes to remove an item? Online? Nope. All right, I'll bring it back to the board for action.
I move approval. A second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the consent calendar. Any further discussion? There being none, Sylvie, could we get a roll call vote, please?
Andriotta.
Aye.
Broadway.
Yes.
Howdeshelt.
Aye.
Jones.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Great, thank you. Next item is our item H, the Regional Transportation and Air Quality Mitigation Fee Allocation Request for Interstate 80 Rockland Road Interchange. And I believe Rick is presenting that item today.
Morning, Chair and Board. Rick Carter, your Deputy Executive Director. So as noted, the item before you is for an allocation request for the Rockland Road Interchange project. That project is about a $43 million improvement that will provide for traffic operational improvements as well as bike and pedestrian access improvements around the I-80 interchange at Rockland. The SPRTA Tier 1 fee includes about $23.4 million for the interchange and the auxiliary lanes. The auxiliary lanes is a second phase of that work, composes about $11 million of that total allocation. The Tier 1 fee previously allocated about $3.4 million for environmental and preliminary engineering work. That work has been completed. The City of Rockland recently approved the environmental document and selected a preferred alternative and are now moving into the final design phase. So they have asked for another allocation of $3.8 million for a total of $7.2 to complete the design work. This is, it's been a known planned allocation. It was laid out in the cash flow. So there's sufficient revenue to cover this allocation. TAC concurred with this, and with that, we have the recommended action for the allocation, and I'm happy to answer any questions the board may have. We do have Hunter Young from the city is also online if anyone has any particulars on the project.
Yeah, Mr. Broadway, Chair Broadway, did you get some federal funding for this one?
We are currently working on securing some federal funding, hopefully to assist us in some of the right-of-way acquisition.
Okay.
Does this item here have anything to do with the work that's happening right now on Rockland Road and 90, or is that completely different?
That's completely different.
Okay.
Yes.
But-
Lots of activity happening.
Yeah.
But that work, right, without this project, that one would just, as I think you said earlier, Chair Broadway, about Loomis, it would just kick the can down the road. You didn't say that. You were more eloquent.
Yes, but correct. Any other questions from the board? Is there anyone from the public in chambers that wishes to comment on this item? So will be anyone online? All right, wonderful. I will bring it back to the. board
Move the
for
item.
action.
A second.
We have a motion and a second to approve item H. Any further discussion? There being none, so we get a roll call vote, please.
Andriata,
Aye.
Broadway,
Yes,
Howdeshelt,
Yes,
Jones.
Aye.
Motion passes.
wonderful. Next item today is item I, Regional Transportation and Air Quality Mitigation Fee Update. Again, I believe Rick is presenting that item today.
Correct, that is me again. I'll point out we have in the audience Don Hubbard from GHG. He's the consultant that worked on the SPRTA fee update for the Nexus. I don't have really slides for this. It's a pretty straightforward item. At the October board meeting, the board adopted the SPRTA Tier 1 Nexus fee with the fee with a new fee table, fees to be effective January 1st. Unfortunately, in the last month, we discovered that there are some errors in table 14, which was the non-residential fees. Basically, it's a copy paste error, kind of in the final version of that. In order to correct this, it does require a public hearing with a 30-day notice, and there was not sufficient time to do that in time for this meeting. So consulting with our legal counsel, the recommendation had been to come back to the board, ask you to repeal resolution 2305 that adopted the Nexus and set the fees, and direct that we continue to collect the current fees. With this, we'll come back in January with the corrected table to basically re-adopt the Nexus. Spoke with the TAC concurs with this, and I can answer any questions the board has.
Great, great. Any questions from the board?
was it, which non-residential? Was it commercial retail? Was it?
There are it's basically a copy paste error within the table that shifted everything. So there's some that are correct and some.
If it hasn't happened to you in your life, then you're just not working hard enough, right?
Okay. Is there anyone in chambers who wishes to comment on this item? So will be anyone online? All right, I'll bring it back to the board for action.
Move the item.
A second.
We have a motion and a second to approve item I. Any further discussion? There being none, Sylvie, could we get a roll call vote, please?
Andriata,
Aye.
Broadway,
Yes,
Howdeshelt,
Yes.
Jones.
Aye.
Motion passes.
wonderful. Thank you. The next item on our agenda is selection of chair and vice chair for 2024. And Matt, I believe you're going to present that item.
Yeah, well, it's that time of year again, right?
Okay.
Deja vu.
Seems like just a little while.
So the action requested is to designate the board member representing the city of Roseville as chair and the board member representing Placer as vice chair for the 2024 calendar year.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you. And any questions from the board? No? Anyone from the public have questions or comments on this item? Nope, I'll bring it back then to the board for
So-
nominations.
I'm sorry, Roseville's chair and who's vice chair?
Placer.
Well, I recommend approval of the recommended chair and vice chair selection for 2024.
A second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? There being none? So we get a roll call vote, please?
Andriata,
Aye.
Broadway,
Yes,
Houteshelt,
Aye.
Jones.
Aye.
Motion passes.
wonderful. Thank you. Next item is item K, and it's the Executive Director Report. Matt?
Chair, I have nothing in addition to what I provided under BCTPA.
Wonderful, thank you. And the next item is board direction to staff. Do we have any direction from the board for staff? No, all right. I did not do this during our last meeting, so I'll do it now. I just want to wish, because we will likely not see one another until January, you all a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Thank you for all your hard work during the course of this year. It's been an honor serving as your chair for SPARTA, and I'm certainly honored also to have been selected as the chair for PCTPA for next year. So thank you for that. I do
Mhm.
appreciate it.
Yes, we agree. Merry Christmas.
All right, next item is informational items. We were provided with the SPRTA minutes and financial reports. That was for information only, so no action needed on that item. Our next regularly scheduled SPARTA meeting will take place on January 24th. I believe we will be back in the domes. Is that correct?
Hopefully.
You don't think so? Okay.
Yeah.
What
are you doing down there?
All right.
Oh, yeah.
So please, please note when Solvi, which she does a fabulous job on that communication, please note the location when that's provided. So again, everyone, thank you and have a wonderful holiday.
Thank you.
We are adjourned.
Yeah.